everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Recently I saw Hamilton again in London. This was my 5th time seeing the show and I didn't vlog it because, to be honest, I just wanted to enjoy the trip, and I have done videos on seeing the show before, so if you want to check those out they'll be linked below. There's a video from the first time I saw the show when I queued up for return tickets, and the second time I saw the show, which was to see a different Alexander Hamilton. That was the tickets I originally had booked when they went on sale like a year and a half ago. And then I've done a cheapest seat video on the show as well, and that was the 3rd and 4th trips to Hamilton because I managed to sit in the cheapest price ranges. So if you want to see my thoughts on the show and the different areas that I've sat in, then you can do that. All those videos are linked below. Today instead I thought I would talk you through 10 of my favourite moments from seeing the show 5 times. They're in no particular order. I didn't want to sort of rank them or anything. They're just the 10 things that came to mind straight away when I thought this would be a nice video to do, and what stuck out immediately, because obviously if they've come to mind immediately then they're probably going to be some of my favourite things from the show. These can change in the future. I'm not saying this is my definitive top 10, but this is my top 10 right now. Also, another side note, this video might not be spoiler free completely. There will be a couple of things that if you've not seen the show live and you want to have a completely fresh experience when you see the show live that you might not want to be spoiled on, I'll try and mention it or put some text on screen when there's a spoiler coming. But just to let you know, that's gonna happen. So the first thing that came to mind when I wanted to do this video was the build-up in Yorktown. It's definitely one of my favourite of the sort of bigger numbers of the show, and I think that build-up in the middle of the song, I think it is, you know, obviously when it's the battle scene, and then it kind of cuts. It's just so incredible watching that live. You feel so much energy from that. Obviously, you know it's not a moment where the song's finished and you can applaud, but the last time I saw the show, the audience was so taken by it that there was so much applause in that moment, and then obviously I had to quickly stop so they could carry on the song. But it's such like a release as an audience member. I think I genuinely, this sounds so stupid, but I think I stopped breathing a little bit in that section. I was just like, whoa. It's so impactful and I adore it. The second thing that came to mind is sort of similar in that one in terms of the audience reaction, and it's been at the "Immigrants, we get the job done" line and the applause that follows in that moment, because it's so heartwarming. I've seen a few people on like social media and stuff saying that they think it's just because like people are applauding because they think it's the done thing to do, and I genuinely don't think so, because every time I've seen it, it's generally been like a different night of the week. Like I've seen it on a Tuesday matinee, I've seen it on a Friday night a couple of times, a Saturday night, and then a Wednesday night, and every single time there's been like a genuine reaction to it, and it's not just been like a few fans clapping along, as in like fans who've seen the show like times before or whatever, but it's a genuine reaction, and I just love it, because obviously the world is not a perfect place, but it's nice to know that when you're in a theatre space like that, there are some like obviously like-minded people there that agree that that's a good, strong, powerful line, and it's a great one to have in a musical, and it's a great one for people to react to. I think it'd actually be quite sad if I went to see Hamilton and no one reacted to that line. Moving away from audience reaction for a second, I love in Satisfied when, well, not necessarily when the lights come down in Satisfied, but there are lights that come down, all sort of like lantern style. I'm a bit obsessed with Edison bulbs. I just think they're gorgeous, and obviously these lamps have those. And for like a few songs in that part of the show, mainly in Satisfied is when I like really noticed them, they kind of swell with the music. I can't think of the right way to describe it, but you know, they follow along with the beat in a sense. And then there's this really wonderful moment at the line, Ben Franklin with a key and a kite, you see it right? And I didn't know until recently, but apparently that line is something to do with like the discovery of electricity, I think. And that's why the lights get really bright in that moment. There's something really satisfying about the way those lights are part of the show in that moment, and I'm obsessed. I think they look amazing. And I remember when I first saw the show and they came down, I just wasn't really expecting anything to come down from the roof, because it's a very simple set in a sense, and I just didn't expect anything like that to happen, and it made me very happy. Simple person, honestly. On a kind of similar note to like Satisfied and the Schuyler Sisters, I love the little part of choreography in the Schuyler Sisters for the putting women in the sequel. I just love that, and like the whole work, like I love that. So I realised I sounded so kind of like basic when I just did that, but I'm obsessed. Again, another simple thing that just makes me happy. Okay, the next one is a little bit spoilery if you've not seen the show live, so I'll put a timestamp. You can skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled on this one. But I love that when, why have I completely forgotten Hamilton's son's name? Philip. When Philip is showing off his rap, that Eliza does the beatboxing. I remember first time I saw it, I almost died laughing because it was just so unexpected, and I was like, Eliza is beatboxing, like what? And realistically now, when I haven't actually listened to the soundtrack a lot since I cast recording, sorry. I haven't listened to it a lot since I've been seeing the show because I just have them kind of stuck in my head. But never when I was listening to the cast recording did I expect it to be Eliza beatboxing, and now I'm like, of course. Who else would be beatboxing? It just makes sense, but it was an amazing revelation and it's hilarious. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is kind of a spoiler. Yeah, I think if you've not seen the show and you've just listened to the cast recording, again, maybe skip ahead a little bit, I'll put a timestamp. But I am obsessed with the bullet track. I knew about the bullet track before I saw the show, and this was because of the Hamilcast podcast, which if you're a Hamilton fan and you've never heard the Hamilcast, where have you been? Go and listen to it. I'll try and remember to link it down below. But yes, I knew about this bullet track, but I didn't know too much about it. Having watched the show a few times, it's really amazing to watch that bullet track and to just have your mind blown by realising how much detail is in Hamilton without you even realising it. So I've said this in a vlog before, I am going to go and see the show hopefully one day when it's just full principal cast and I don't need to like pay attention to any understudies or anything, and just watch the bullet track, because there are so many subtleties of how the bullet interacts with certain characters at certain moments, and you don't really realise it when you're just watching the show. Like if you're just a first timer or you know nothing about it, you wouldn't think too much about it. But when you know that that track is going to become the bullet track, and then like the next time you're able to see the show, like you watch that person. If I get to do that at some point, I will try and make a video about it. I don't think I'll be able to do it justice, but I will try. Okay, so the next thing makes me laugh so much, and it's the hoedown in the Reynolds pamphlet. There's something about it, something about seeing all of the cast just going full out in their, well, it's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Freestyle. It's kind of freestyle, but it's also not. Like, it looks like it's freestyle, but it isn't technically. It is sort of choreographed. It's just so fun. And then, spoiler alert, sorry, the fact that King George is in that bit as well, I lose it. I lose it every time, especially when Mike Gibson's on, because he's such a fantastic King George. So funny. And just that whole section I think is brilliant and such a like comic relief. And then taking a slightly more like somber route, I'm in love with how they do the hurricane sequence. Just the way everyone goes into like a stop, and then with the revolve, oh my god, I just think that visually looks amazing. It's probably like my favourite visual moment of the show, I'd say. it's just so perfect. And the way that they use like the minimal props that they have, like kind of the chairs and things like that, and how it, oh my god, it just looks so perfect. And how many times have I said obsessed with in this video? I'm obsessed with it. It looks insane. It's just, I think it's quite an underrated song, you know? It's one of my favourites, definitely. And then the final thing on my list, quite fittingly, this is at the end, because I really love the play out of the show. So they do the curtain call and then they go off stage and, you know, everyone starts to leave. And generally for most shows, I will stay if I can until the band is finished, because I feel like it's just like respectful, you know, give them a little clap afterwards. And if anyone has left before that, then you do miss out, because it's such a cool play out. It's not like, it's obviously not on the cast album or anything. It sounds really cool. And again, this is kind of a little spoiler if you've not seen the show. Sorry, so many spoilers. But they do this really fun thing at the very end of the play out. There's a, I'm gonna put a video of it here so you can see what I mean. They do like a lighting switch on the stage with the bullet sound, and it just lights up all in red, and it's like a target almost on the stage. It just looks sick and I love it, because I really like it when they do something different with like the play outs and how the show like fully closes, you know? And I remember the first time I was in the show, because I was in the stalls, I just saw, because it kind of, the whole stage is like a wash with red. I just thought, well, that's cool. And then when I saw it from the dress circle, I then saw the target and I was like, that's so cool. So it's just a really fun play out, and I really like that. Okay, well, those are my current favourite moments from seeing Hamilton live. Obviously, I would love to know what your favourite moments from Hamilton are, even if it's just from the cast recording. If you've not been able to see the show yet, I would love to know. But if you have seen it in person, I would definitely love to know what your favourite bits are. And, you know, some of the bits are so surprising when you see the show in person, because with the cast recording, obviously, it's mostly gonna wait for that siren to go past. Yeah, it's very different seeing the show, because even though you hear most of it on the cast recording, obviously visually it's a bit different, but then there are some like little added bits, which, let's not spoil those in the comments, because I feel like that's a bit like a Harry Potter keep the secrets moment. You know, the stuff that Lynn wanted to keep secret for a reason. Let's keep that under wraps. But yeah, let me know what your favourite moments are, because I would love to know. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of me in the future. I make a lot of theatre videos, so if you enjoy theatre, maybe stick around. I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!